I welcome all of you in this. If you're watching me live or if you're watching me on replay on YouTube or even my Facebook page, I welcome all of you. And uh, to get started, I am Sonia Davar. I'm a business finance coach and a chartered accountant myself. Uh, and I help entrepreneurs start their business, know their business numbers really well so that they can concentrate on earning profit and not just getting the revenue in their business. I see many businesses making this mistake that they concentrate only on the revenue portion and they don't really concentrate on what is the profitability, and they land up not taking any remuneration from the business for years to come. And we all know that 95% of the businesses don't even see the day after 5 years of they have started their business. As a chartered accountant, I have been practicing for the last 10 years, and I have seen so many entrepreneurs making these mistakes for the last 10 years, and so many women entrepreneurs shutting their business down, which is their passion project, because they have not really figured out on the profitability part of their business. So if you really want to learn how to build business and how to build wealth for yourself, this is the place to be. Come and join my channel, subscribe it, and we will take through a lot of tutorials on how you can discuss about finances and taxes and the systems and automations that you can put in place so that you can actually move from being a freelancer to the CEO of your business. That's what I want. I do in my business. So wherever you are, there are some links in the description, and so check the description wherever you are watching. It would be above if you are watching me on Facebook, or it would be down below if you're watching me on YouTube. So look at the link in the description, and whatever I'm talking about today, about the notifications or the extensions, all of those links I have given them below. You also have the link to join me on my other social media channels: Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere. Those links are also given in the description below. So with this, let's get started with our topic for the day, and which is, let me just move ahead a little bit so that we can you all can see this overlay a little better. So our today's topic is the seven tax updated deadlines, and how that you all need to know, and how you can prepare in advance so that you are in compliance with all of these deadlines. So we are running in the pandemic time, and it really is doing all the compliances, filing, getting the audits done, especially when we all are working from home. This is my home, this is where I have my home office, and coordinating with the team online kind of gets uh, uh, takes a lot of toll, and then we have to finish all the work before the deadline. In a normal year, by it would have all been done by now. 31st October is typically, even if they get any extension, all the tax audits and all the tax return filings get over. And here we are at the end of October, and we have certain extensions that we get more time to file it. So this is a time of pandemic. If your things are not in order, if your business is not in order, if your finances is not in order, I would encourage you to not really bog down on yourself, or not really get into a negative self talk, because we don't get reminded that we are still in the life of pandemic, and the corona is not yet over. So with this, let's start with what is the first extension that we have. So the first extension that we have is basically for business owners. If you're running a business, and if tax audit is applicable on your business, then you get more extension and more time. And now the due date is 31st of January 2021. So tax audit is applicable currently for financial year 1920 for businesses who has more than 5 crores of turnover. That's for all businesses, but there are a lot of exceptions that if your turnover is lower than 5 crores but more than 1 crore or 2 crores, then as well you might have the tax audit applicable for your business. And if it does, then 31st January is now the deadline for you to upload your tax audit returns for your business. Now, if you all want to see the actual notifications, all of those links are in the description below. And with this, we will move to the next extension that we have. So the next extension is basically for businesses. So if you are having a business and if you have your foreign related party transactions, then you will need to get something like called a transfer pricing audit done for your business. So there is no limit for getting a transfer pricing audit for foreign transactions. Even if you have like one transaction with your foreign party and which is a related entity, that means a holding company or a subsidiary company or a company in which the directors are common between India or some other country outside some other company or entity, legal entity outside India, then you have to get a transfer pricing audit done for your business. And if that is the case, then again, for filing that report, the report goes in the form 3CEB, and you will have the time to file that 3CEB report by 31st of January 2021. So you have good enough time for you to close the books and prepare for your financials if you haven't done that already, and then prepare for these audit reports. For domestic transfer pricing transactions is basically if you have domestic related parties, that is like within a group companies in India, and you do a transaction of more than 5 crore rupees, is when transfer pricing would be applicable for you to on the domestic transactions as well. And in the audit, you will need to basically tell that if you are running, basically if you are complying with all the arm's length price for all the related party transactions that you have. So that is for transfer pricing audit for financial year 1920. The due date is now 31st of January 2021. With this, let's move to the third one. So the third tax extension that we have is basically for uh, individuals. If you have like for ITR filing, so if you are an individual or a business owner and no tax audit or transfer pricing audit is applicable to you, then the last date by which you can file your ITR, that is income tax return, is 31st of December 2020. Now you all don't want to waste your last week of 2020. You would, even though it is like we all are at home and there is no plan that we would go out for our New Year's party, I would suggest that do not take this deadline as the final deadline, and plan your work ahead so that you don't have to work at the end of the financial year, at the end of the year 2020. So plan your taxes such that you file your ITR before 31st of December, and much before 31st of December, before you are planning on taking any leave at all for yourself and for your business owners. As a chartered accountant, we really struggle with these due dates, and basically we don't really get the 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 dates or the festivals or the, so because of all these tax deadlines, so you don't, I mean, bear with us and file your taxes much in advance with whoever chartered accountant that you are using. Now the fourth one on the list is for GST audit. So first we are covering all the business returns, and then we will come to all the individuals. So the last date for filing your GST audit for financial year 1819 mark my words, we are not talking about financial year 1920 for this particular due date. This is for financial year 1819, that is last financial year to last financial year. And what we are talking about is the GST audit for them. And the due date has now been extended to 31st of December 2020. So the earlier due date was 30th of September, but now in the first week of October, they have extended this date, and now it is 31st of December 2020 is also the due date for GST filing, because there are other due dates also coming in. So the government has decided to give more time for GST audit of last year, so that people can plan for their other tax filings and ITR filings, and we have time till 31st of December to do those GST audits for 1819. Now, as of now, GST audit for 1920 is still 30th, 31st of December 2020, but we are expecting some extension also coming their way, because if we are filing for 1819 by 31st of December and there are already other deadlines by that time, there is less likely that businesses will be able to comply with that deadline. So rest assured, GST audit for FY 1920 also might get extended, and I will let you know when it gets extended in the future. So, with this, let's come to the fifth tax deadline that we are talking about, which is again changed or has been extended, and what you can do that for that. So, the next deadline is for filing your tax audit report for 1920. I think I did some mistake over there. So 31st December is the due date for filing of ITR for the companies for whom tax audit is applicable. So 31st December is 31st January 2021 is basically the due date for filing of ITR for entities who have to get their tax audit and transfer pricing audit done. Then the third one that we discussed was last date for filing of ITR for all other cases, that is, who do not have tax audit or who do not have transfer pricing audit done. Their due date is 31st of December. So let me just go back to my all the overlays here, and the first one that we discussed is basically the last date for filing of ITRs for the companies who need to get their tax audit done. So if you have somebody that need to get your tax audit report, you need to file your report by 31st of December, which is again what we've discussed in the fifth here. And you need to file the tax or the income tax return for your business by 31st of December, by 31st of January 2021. I have kept all of these overlays for this reason, that I don't forget the dates, because there are so many dates, and yet here I am making mistakes. But I wanted to make this mistake today, or I wanted to come unprepared, or come like not perfect, because I am kind of battling myself with the perfection that I want in my work and my content. But then here we are, and excuse me for all the jargons, and that's why you have these overlay here, so that you even if I don't say anything correctly, you have everything all right for you to have a look at. So the last date for filing your tax audit report for financial year 1920 is 31st of December, and for those entities, the last date for filing their ITRs is 31st of January. With this, again in the similar concept, let's have a look at the sixth deadline. The sixth one, excuse me, excuse me, as I mentioned you in the beginning, that I'm not really keeping well, and this kind of is coming back on me. But here is live. Here we are in pandemic, and we are discussing about tax deadline extension, so you all can imagine the condition that we all are in. So the sixth extension that I want to talk about is the last date for filing transfer pricing audit report for financial year 1920, and the due date for that is 31st of December. So you need to file that form 3CEB I was talking about previously. Those reports needs to be filed by 31st of December, and the income tax return for that entity needs to be filed by 31st of January 2021. So the process works like, what for computing your tax liability, we need to disallow certain expenses and then give allowance of certain expenses as per the Income Tax Act, which is very different from the way you do accounting as per your Companies Act or your normal accounting. And to do that, we have the clauses in tax audit that tells us that where we need to do those disallowances, and we report those in the tax audit report, and then take those kind of disallowances that have been reported in the tax audit report and use it for our computation. So first, what department is telling you is to file the tax audit report and then use the same information to prepare your income tax return for financial year 1920, and you have an extra month to do that, so that there is no rush for you to submit those returns. So I hope I'm clear, and the same concept goes for transfer pricing audit as well. So there could be certain adjustment in the computation based on the transfer pricing audit report that gets filed. So do understand all these terms for your business. If you don't know already, sit with your chartered accountant and understand from them that what are the benefits of it. Then you will understand that the kind of um, uh, better service that they are providing for your business. Because once you understand what are the compliance requirements for your business, then you will appreciate more the kind of services your CAs are providing you. So with this, last date for filing your transfer pricing audit report is 31st of December 2020. Now we will go to the seventh. And the seventh tax extension that I want to talk today is about last date for payment of self assessment tax. So, as if you don't know what is self assessment tax, let me cover what is self assessment tax. And this tax is while you are doing your computation for your tax filing and filing your taxes, you self assess the liability. So you know that this is my revenue for the year, these are my expenses for the year. I'm talking about business, and these are the tax deductions that I'm taking for my business, and that's my taxable income. And for based on that, whatever tax liability comes in, if you haven't really paid it in the form of advance tax or TDS, then you have to pay that tax liability in the form of self assessment tax. And the due date for payment of this self assessment tax is typically the due date of filing of return. So you cannot really file your income tax return unless you have paid the tax liability. And the tax liability, to give advantage to small and medium taxpayers, this payment deadline has also been extended to the respective date of filing of return, provided if your tax liability does not exceed a lakh of rupees. So, to summarize, if your tax liability, that is tax payable at the time of filing your tax return, because throughout the year you pay taxes in the form of TDS that gets deducted on the income that you have filed, and second, in the form of advance tax. So you would assess your tax liability on a quarterly basis and then pay those taxes in the form of advance tax. So these are the two forms in which you have paid taxes throughout the year. But if at the end of the year, at the time of filing your tax returns, if you still have certain tax liability, then you need to pay that tax liability in the form of self assessment tax. And if your self assessment tax is more than a lakh of rupees, then the due date for that was 30th of September, and now you might have to pay interest on that payment. But if your tax self assessment tax liability is less than a lakh of rupees, then you get more time to pay those taxes, because government does not want you to pay more on taxes, and they want you to use your cash to run your business or run your household. So you get more time um, uh, to pay those taxes along with filing of your return. So if you have tax audit or transfer pricing audit applicable to you, your ITR due date is 31st of January, and that becomes your self assessment tax payment liability. But if your ITR filing deadline is 31st of December, then that is the due date by which you will need to pay your self assessment tax and file your returns. Now, this is the seven tax deadlines that we had discussed. There is a little one little bonus for you as well, and that is, in case you missed it, you still have some time to file your tax returns for financial year 18-19. Now, by now, I assume that a lot of you might have already filed your tax returns and might have already got your tax refunds. But my dear friend, if you haven't done that already, check on the income tax website, download your form 26AS. If you have any tax, if any taxes has been deducted on your income for financial year 18-19, and you have not filed it, you still have one more month for you to upload those returns and then apply for any tax refund if at all you have. If not, then this is also a very good compliance, because if you are looking for any loans or building your credit history, you must file your taxes every year, and you can do that. Normally, this original deadline for this is 31st of March of the next year. So you would have not really got the opportunity to file your return if you've missed that 31st March 2020 deadline. But because of pandemic, you have the time. You get another one more month to basically file your return for financial year 18-19 and apply for those tax refunds if you have. If not, then at least be compliant and file your tax returns on time. You might need to pay the penalty for late filing, that is 10,000 rupees. And if your income is below 5 lakh rupees, then the penalty is 1,000 rupees. But nonetheless, you will comply, and you will have the return to show in case you want to apply for a loan, or in case you want to apply for a visa for going outside of this country, or generally filing tax return is a very good way of building your tax history and your capital history as well. So do file off. In case you need any of the help, I and my team would love to help you. There are all the social media handles where you can come and you can connect with us in case you have any queries and things like that, or you can even drop your comments below in the description, and we and me and my team will definitely come and uh, test you for, like, come and check with you to resolve any of the queries that you have. So with this, I will go back to the comments, and I think there are certain comments here. uh, I need to, okay. So, with this, I would like to take your leave, and I will bring in another live session on the common mistakes that generally people make while filing their tax returns, and how you can avoid them, which really cost a lot of people their tax refunds, and uh, they don't get the tax refunds, and they land up getting notices at the after filing their tax refunds with interest and penalties. So I don't want any of you who are following us to to file your returns with some mistake or have a defective return notice and then follow it up and waste your time in the future. So we would be covering in the next live 5 mistakes, and I will be doing a post shortly for that. Let me know your feedback on this live. I would definitely need your comments here. Even if you're watching it as a replay on my YouTube channel, I would like to know your comments, and I would love to see your comments. Thank you so much. And I will join you in another live next week. Thank you.